Good evening and welcome. You're watching Trending Tonight with me, Sanket Upadhyay. Our focus for the next 30 minutes is going to be on a development that took place in Mumbai, where properties of a man who's been hailed by many across the country, many hapless Indians as a messiah, has been raided by the income tax department. Now, many experts say, many people from the ruling dispensation say, you can't really draw a link. His act of being a messiah for the many is a welcome act. But if the income tax department feels that certain actions need to be taken against him so that he explains the source of his income with the help of which he was helping the people, then what is wrong in it? They also say, government sources also say, do remember, Sonu Sood was also raided by the IT department in 2012. So then in that case, according to the government, what is the fuss about? But then you've got an argument from the other side of the spectrum that only very recently he met a political personality called Arvind Kejriwal in the national capital. He became a brand ambassador for one of his schemes. And then this action has happened. So is it a case that there are IT raids at Sonu Sood's residence where he has become the people's hero but the government's villain?
Since the pandemic, actor Sonu Sood's house in Andheri is a well-known destination for all those looking for help of any kind. Every day there's a crowd of people to ask him for assistance which the state has been unable to provide. He makes it a point to come out and meet them. But today, unexpectedly, income tax officials arrived at his premises, apparently in relation to a deal he had done with a Lucknow-based real estate company. Opposition politicians are calling this a witch hunt of a man who is now known as the messiah of migrants. When millions of migrants were stranded overnight in Mumbai last year with no transport, home or food, the 48-year-old actor stepped in. A single-handed effort that managed to send hundreds home by buses, trains and even planes.
Lockdowns, we are sitting at home with all the comforts in the world. So I was working towards it where I could get all the necessary permissions where I can get the trains arranged for them or the buses or any means where they can just reach their homes, and finally I could manage to send hundreds of people, almost 350 people just left on 10 buses to Gulbarga in Karnataka, and this is the first lot of people.
During the second COVID wave, where people across India were dying because of lack of oxygen, he intervened again, ordering 18 oxygen plants from France and sending them to various states across India. Funds which he says comes from donations.
मेजरली हिट स्टेट्स रही हैं ऑक्सीजन के मामले में, वो दिल्ली में बहुत तकलीफ रही है और बैंगलोर में बहुत है, उत्तर प्रदेश में बहुत ज्यादा है. तो अभी सिलेंडर्स हो, कॉन्सेंट्रेटर्स हो, वो सब भिजवा ही रहे हैं, पर वो फिर भी एक परिवार की हेल्प करता है, फिर बाकी लाखों लोग हैं जिन तक नहीं पहुंच सकते. बैंगलोर में ऑक्सीजन ड्राइव है कि आप कोई भी इमरजेंसी वाले पेशेंट्स हैं, आप हमें कॉल कीजिए, एक टोल फ्री नंबर रहेगा उस पर और हमारी पूरी टीम जाके जो है उन्हें ऑक्सीजन पहुंचाएगी. ये तो 2 ड्राइव्स हैं, लेकिन ये टेम्परेरी चीजें हैं. एक फ्रांस की कंपनी है ऑक्सी प्लस करके.
As he became a hero in real life, he was feted by many politicians from across the country, meeting chief ministers and leaders from Maharashtra, Telangana and Delhi. He has maintained he won't be joining any political party, but his new role had him also landing many campaigns and magazine covers.
Nothing political. मैं हमेशा मेंटेन करता रहा हूँ कि लोग हमेशा बोलते हैं कि आप कोई अच्छा काम करना है तो पॉलिटिक्स में आइए, या क्यों नहीं आ सकते, बहुत कमाल का फील्ड है, एंड आई थिंक अगर आप आए तो वन हैज टू बी ब्लेस्ड, बट एज ऑफ नाउ वी हैवंट डिस्कस्ड एनीथिंग पॉलिटिकल.
His admirers even built a temple in his honor. Today, as he faces the heat of the income tax, many are questioning why a man who has done so much to help millions is suddenly facing questions on illegal income.
Officials leaving from Sonu Sood's residence here at Casablanca. Sonu Sood's house is on the 4th floor of this building, and officials can impound material as well. But at this point, we don't know if that has happened. However, questions are being raised about the timing of the income tax authority's actions, with Sonu Sood recently agreeing to become brand ambassador for a Delhi government project. And many are saying, is this simply the income tax department doing its job, or is there more to it, including a political angle? In Mumbai with camera person Praveen Ji Rohit, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Saurabh Bharadwaj, MLA and Chief Spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, is now with us. We also have Sanjay Jha as a political analyst, Kanika Sadanan, an actor and an advocate with us, Akashdeep Sabir, friend of Sonu Sood and also an actor, producer and director. In just a short moment, we'll have a cabinet minister from the government of Maharashtra. We have him. Mr. Nawab Malik is now with us. And Ashwini Dubey, lawyer of the Supreme Court, is going to join us in just a short moment. Mr. Malik, I want to begin with you first. Do you think that this action smacks of political activity? Does it have political overtones, or is this just an agency going about its duty?
Definitely, it is a politically motivated. It is just giving a signal to the celebrity of this country, the film industry. If you go against us, we can do anything against you. With due respect to the celebrities and film industry people, now they are under some kind of a pressure. Even they cannot speak openly against anybody. Who speaks against them? Either he has been declared anti-national or anti-society, and a social media army, IT cell, they make them active against those who spoke against them. And now Sonu Sood, a personality who has supported a lot of people in the country during the COVID period, and is so popular, he has taken an assignment of Delhi government, and they are giving a message entire community of celebrity and film industry. If anybody is trying to go against us, definitely we can do anything against them. This is like that only.
Okay, Kanika Sadanan, I want to come to you now. You see, I spoke to certain members and people in the government, and they were saying that why should this be seen in conjunction with his meeting with the Chief Minister of Delhi. He met the Chief Minister of Maharashtra also. In fact, he's been praised by the Prime Minister also. The act of kindness of Sonu Sood and the possibility of something wrong in his account book should be treated as two different activities. Do you think that this argument holds?
I agree, Sanket. It should be treated differently. But we all know the tone and tenor of this present governing, dispensation, the way they are, the way they've been behaving with activists, with journalists. And so we are not wrong to think that if they've combined the two, or they're trying to punish him for what he's doing. My question here is that there was inquiry on his accounts for the last 6 months. If there was anything that they found in the last 6 months, why did they wait for this time? They probably were holding a sword on his head and saying, okay, we will not say anything, or I don't know, there can be corruption, there can be so many things. But the minute he is connected with the Delhi Chief Minister, suddenly you put this, raid on him. I just feel it's all timed accordingly. And this is very sad that our country has become like this, that, dissenters are being treated in a certain way, people who are kind are being treated in a certain way, people who have done the job that the government should have been doing, this is what they do to them. I mean, like somebody like Navneet Kalra, he's probably thinking of leaving the country and going. So slowly we'll have everybody leaving the country and going. Everybody who can afford it, they'll leave the country, and you'll not have any good Samaritans. You'll only have puppy dogs, or you'll have people who just be listening to whatever the government says and then probably voting on divisive politics. This is what's going to happen. We are killing our country, we are killing our democracy, we are killing the people who really want to serve the country.
Okay, Saurabh Bharadwaj, I want to bring you in here. What do you think about this connection being drawn between his meeting with the Delhi Chief Minister and then these raids happening? Because again, getting in a reaction from the government, I have been told that there were similar raids against him in 2012 also, and other artists. So to say that this government is singling him out may not be correct, because by that logic, even the UPA government was against him.
Yeah.
How do you respond?
Sanket, I will bring out 3 aspects to this whole story. One, if you ask anybody in this country, that you name a national hero who has done something for the country in last 1 year, a non-political hero who has touched as many lives as they can. I think everybody will unanimously say Sonu Sood has been our national hero, and he has helped people like anything. And he was the one who showed mirror to the central government that if a single person who is just a celebrity can do this much for the migrants and for the people in Corona, what could the central government have done with its resources? So he showed mirror. And I think he was viral on the media, social media, Twitter, Facebook, everything. So I think government has this inherent hatred towards this hero, that why did he show us the mirror? One. Second thing, this government has a problem with celebrities, because I am being told by many of my celebrity friends, especially who come from Bombay film industry, that there is a constant pressure from the government that why are these celebrities, film industries not making films or documentaries or, these serials which are on OTT platform, which favor this philosophy or this thought process of hatred between religions. And they are doing contrary. The celebrities, the film actors, they are doing contrary. They are using OTT platform against their philosophy of hate. And the third thing is, all these celebrities, particularly, people from films, art and all, they are very vulnerable people. They cannot, they are not, their lifestyle is not there to handle all such kinds of things. They are dependent on their image, and they cannot be, made to sit at income tax offices every third day, because they have their shooting dates, they have their schedules. Once the signal is there that this man is untouchable, there is an indirect pressure on the film industry not to take him in any of your projects. Otherwise, we will keep calling him to the IT office or to the CBI office, and you will not get the dates. So there are the three aspects, and I think this is alarm
bell. The process then becomes the punishment.
Yes, the process is itself a punishment, because in most of these cases, they never get charge sheeted. There are no court judgments. So it is just one process that they just harass. And the last thing is that, it is not a coincidence that this is happening to the likes of Deepika Padukone or Anurag Kashyap, Sonu Sood. I think it's an alarm bell for people who are on the other side of the spectrum, be it Sunny Deol, be it Anupam Kher, be it anyone, Nobody is in power for permanent. Nobody is permanent in power.
Sure.
Tomorrow, second party comes to power, you will have the same feel of the music. So I think in their benefit, they should consider that this is not a healthy thing. This is a very wrong precedence, a very wrong culture which is being propagated by BJP.
Sanjay Jha, I want to come to you now. Some initial comments have been made. This relation between his meeting with Arvind Kejriwal and the fact that he had almost become a messiah for many in this country. Experts here feel, ministers in the Maharashtra government, Saurabh Bharadwaj in the Delhi government, everybody feels that there is a relationship and the present day dispensation is unhappy with Sonu Sood. Now, the present day dispensation and representatives say, if we would have been unhappy, why would the Prime Minister or other members praise Sonu Sood for all the service that he has done to humanity? Why can't these acts be looked at differently?
Sanket, why the Prime Minister praised him, I think Mr. Modi is the best person to answer that question. But the two irrefutable facts are, number one, is that this government inherently is politically vindictive and has a revengeful propensity towards anyone that they believe is probably not following their line. Number two, the Bollywood has always been a soft target. And I think I agree with Saurav when he said that these people are more vulnerable. In fact, when you see all these, superstars posing with the Prime Minister at multiple venues, you know that they are not doing that of their own volition. There is a lot of extreme pressure on them to actually provide those kind of photo ops to the national leaders of the BJP. But I think what is tragic here is this, that, here is a man who stood out during very difficult, dark days in a humanitarian crusade. And I know at that point of time, I live in Mumbai, there were people who were not even willing to step out of the house because they feared an infection. So I do believe that, at the end of the day, it is very difficult to have a charitable disposition towards this government. And having been a banker, I will tell you one point where all of us are vulnerable. Sanket, you are vulnerable. Nawabji is vulnerable. Saurav is vulnerable. The actor, producer, director on your show is vulnerable. Kunika is vulnerable. I am vulnerable. You see, the laws in this country are so complex. They are so, Byzantine
Draconian
by its nature. Yeah, that the government can easily find any loophole and say we had to raid him. You see, it is very easy to say that you did not file this return on a given date. You see, in companies today, and I've been part of quite a few of them, the biggest worry is that there are so many laws in India that, you can be held criminally responsible and put to jail if the government wants to. Therefore, I think the government exercises this discretion when it wants to target an individual. And I don't know whether Mr. Sood is joining Aam Aadmi Party or campaigning for them in Punjab. I frankly don't even care. But there is no denying that we have an authoritarian culture in our country, and the BJP is a manifestation of it.
Akashdeep, I want to come to you. Do you feel that, when the government makes this claim that, a kind person can also be a fraud? I want to ask you, why is it that action that is taken is always against those media channels, those individuals or those members of those political parties who stand to differ with the government or are in an adversarial role with the government? Almost always. I mean, look at the chronology, the sequence. It's almost always the same.
See, this malaise I'm observing all over the world. Donald Trump did not like CNN correspondents coming for his speeches. People like Putin and the Chinese leaders have made themselves de facto kings forever. I don't see that kind of a hard line in India, at least not as yet. If Sonu Sood has been raided for a certain property matter, then give him a chance to produce papers, give all the explanations. And if it has links to the fact that he attended an Aam Aadmi Party meeting and agreed to be the face of one such social endeavor that they were planning, then it is very sad, because trust me, I know the person, and I can tell you that I have never seen anyone dedicate 24/7 towards this cause. When we used to meet him officially or unofficially, his phone is perpetually on 24/7, taking calls from people, and there is no financial jugglery there. If you call up and say, I'm desperate, I have limited resources, I can't find oxygen, he will pick up the phone and he will try and call 10 places, and those people acknowledge his call because they know he's a crusader for this pandemic cause, and they try and help. And that's what he's done. As his endeavors got more and more, the awareness got more and more, trust joined him, people joined him, doctors called and said, if you have a problem, call me, I'll operate free, I'll help free. It's वो जो एक शेर है ना हिंदी में, मैं अकेला ही चलता गया, लोग जुड़ते गए और कारवां बनता गया. I think that's what's happened to him. There is no, I hope this is not a witch hunt to try and see whether he's siphoning off money and all, because he is way above all that, and he has done as an individual what nobody could.
No, I asked him, as a matter of fact, I asked him this question because this had me concerned also. And I asked him this question, where is all this money coming from, Sonu Sood? You want to help people, everybody, all of us want to help people, but how do you do it? And he said, see, the thing is that an act of kindness, I mean, I will keep doing it and I will get more assignments and I will divert, today I am getting 4 times more assignments, and I can divert even more money for acts of kindness and acts of charity. So I think that's a logical explanation. One moment, Ashwini Dubey is also with us, lawyer of the Supreme Court. Ashwini Dubey. Yeah, I'll come back to you, Akashdeep. One moment. Ashwini Dubey, see, again the same question. We were talking earlier, I clearly remember, in the context of News Laundry and NewsClick. And then I asked you this question, you name me any 4 media organizations who are perceived to be pro-government, also known as Godi Media, against whom action has been taken by the government.
That's the question which you asked in the last conversation.
Correct.
Sanket
So
Upadhyay
now
sahab,
we have now reached a similar situation where a people's hero, where a person who's seen, endorsing schemes of an unfriendly government to the center, has now been raided.
There is a established procedure under the income tax department, Sanket Bhai sahab. You are very well-known journalist, and you have always been talked about the law and legal system. My brother, Mr. Saurabh Bharadwaj, may not agree.
No, now you will explain the difference between search and survey.
Question
The
here.
point
Just
is,
understand.
why does ED, CBI and IT go knocking at the residence of those people who are speaking against the government or just going about their job? Just doing their job. In this case, Sonu Sood did not criticize the central government.
If anything is contrary to the established procedure of law, which if anything, the income tax department conducting the survey, contrary to the provisions made in the Income Tax Act, then there is always a law which will prevail in this country, and the person concerned may approach to the High Court. My friend and my advocate is also sitting here, and my friend Mr. Saurabh Bharadwaj will also agree to this. He is also an advocate. The question herein is, how can we connect one illegal deal? The deal which is under the scanner, under a constitutional authority, which is empowered under the law to investigate some offense.
The fact that it happens with such alarming repetition is what raises doubt in the minds of people that anyone who is even remotely seen as either criticizing the government or doing an act of kindness which may show the government in poor light, or being seen as being associated with a government which has an adversarial relationship with the centre, there will be action against him. Kanika Sadanand, very quickly, and then Mr. Nawab.
Yeah, so I wanted to tell this on this, my colleague at the bar, that he is from the Supreme Court and he should not make such irresponsible statements. It is not proven that is an illegal act that he has committed. So let us not make comments like that, firstly. Secondly, I'd like to say, does he really believe that agencies and the law is used only for the benefit and to correct wrongs, or is he living in a fool's paradise that you can use the law, you can use the system, you can use various laws, whether it's ED or income tax or whatever laws, and you can keep on penalizing the person by hanging the sword on their head and punishing them and carrying on the matter? Does he believe in this? I don't think he believes it, because he's not reacting at all. He knows that you can do this. And that is what we are talking about.
Okay, Mr. Nawab Malik, I want to come to you now. Very limited time left. Nawab Malik and then Akashdeep. Nawab Malik, do you feel that this, if there is politics, Mr. Malik, if there is politics involved here,
definitely.
Can you hear me, Mr. Malik?
There is a politics. Yeah. Definitely there is a politics.
Do you think it will backfire? Because Sonu Sood is a very popular man now. There are temples in his name.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely, the way Mr. Dubey said, the law is taking its own course. Many of the cases are falsely made in this country. As you know, Maharashtra case, Mr. Bhujbal was arrested by ED. He was behind the bar for 2 years. He was defamed by the Bharatiya Janata Party, misused the agencies, and last week he has been discharged from the case. The same kind of functioning is here in this country. And definitely the income tax has been misused by the government to defame Sonu Sood. And the question people asking, Mr. Modi has praised him. Until and unless he assigned or joined hand with Mr. Kejriwal, he was good. As he joined hand with Kejriwal, the action has been taken against him.
The question very clearly here, as everybody seems to be highlighting is, and I have still not got an answer from Mr. Dubey, is that why is it that the government only goes after, or government agencies go after those people who either criticize the government or their actions end up making the government look bad? Where is an example otherwise? That's the point. We will leave this discussion on. Thank you very much to all of you all for joining us. News continues on the other side. Stay tuned.